Okay, so yesterday I've received this iRepair box from one of the sellers on AliExpress, and I couldn't get it to work. So I reached out to them to try and see if we can figure out why it's not working. And I thought it would be helpful to make the video that I made before this one yesterday. Um, I thought it would be more helpful than just sending pictures, because that's what they initially asked for, to send them pictures of how we're connecting it. So we created the first video. I'll add that video link to the description below. Anyway, so they had a look at the video and they got hung up on the fact that the phone was in DFU mode already. I have explained that I have tested this in DFU mode and out of DFU mode, and neither seem to do anything other than give us that error. So after a while of frustration, I've now decided to make another video um, to show what it does in DFU mode and what it does out of DFU mode. And they even got me to a point where they say, well, no, I have to reset the phone with iTunes, or as they called it, refresh the device. So now in the meantime, I have gone and I've reset the phone. As you can see, that phone has been pretty much set back to factory defaults by iTunes. I've still got this one working, and I've got this one. So I've got an i7, a black i6, and this white i6. So I've tried it on all of them. I can't get it to work. So as you can see on the screen at the moment, it shows that the device is not connected. Okay, so we will connect the device. We will plug it in. You can hear there's a little bit of a beep on the device itself, and then the machine comes up and it loads the drivers and connects the device to it. And as you can see, it shows there that it's connected now. Device shows connected. Now, there's been a bit of an argument as well between me and the seller because they were complaining that it was in DFU mode and it shouldn't be in DFU mode and I should take it out of DFU mode. So I took it out of DFU mode, and then they said, no, I shouldn't take it out of DFU mode. I must put it in DFU mode. So I put it back in DFU mode, and then they tell me, no, it's not the correct DFU mode. No, excuse me, what is it now? Is it DFU mode, or is it not DFU mode? Or do you want it in recovery mode? What is it that you want? I'm just not getting it. So at this point, it's really frustrating, and I am just trying to get this to work. So I personally don't have a lot of confidence that I'm going to get this box to work, because at this point, I feel it's either fake or faulty, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So I'll go through the process. Okay, at this stage, it shows that the device is connected. Now, the device I'm talking about is the iRepair box. Okay, so we've got an iRepair box. Now, the iRepair box, if you have a look on the top right corner here, you'll see there's firmware button. Now, if you hit the firmware button, it allows you to update the firmware on this device. Okay, they have argued with me about this. If your phone is not connected to it, then how could you expect it to work? Well, at this stage, whether I've got the phone connected to it or not connected to it, either way, it's not working. So yeah, And I'm sorry, logic tells me that if I want to update this firmware on this device, why would I need a phone connected to it? If I need to update the database for this device, why do I need a phone connected to it? Anyway, we will try both ways. So at this stage, we're going to take a phone. We'll take this first one that's just been reset by iTunes. We will plug it in. Right. And immediately you can see there it's connected in normal mode. So at least that's something that they've done, that when you plug it in, it detects what mode it is, and great. Okay. Now, the first thing that the software shows you when you open it is ways to put the phone into DFU mode, okay, which I did in the first place, but never mind. So now we've got it connected in normal mode. So let's see if we can update the firmware on this device. We click on firmware, just drag the box in here, okay, and we go update firmware. And look at that. It's giving me a box instrument communication error again. I wonder, is it because it's in DFU mode, or is it because it's not in DFU mode? Well, currently it's not in DFU mode because that's what they requested, and still doesn't work. Update database. Instrument communication error. Still a problem. Okay, so definitely not anything to do with normal mode at this stage. And still, in my opinion, I shouldn't need the phone connected if I'm trying to update the device firmware. Okay, so and now we're going to take the phone and we're going to stick it into DFU mode. Keep an eye on that thing on the left hand side that says no connection, and just change to DFU model. You see that? An indicator that it's now in DFU mode. Great. Now, if I go and I click on it, look, it says in DFU mode, getting phone information, and then it starts reading phone information. And then immediately after that, it starts saying box instrumentation communication error. Same error you get when you try and update the firmware. So I don't get it. It's now been both in DFU mode and not in DFU mode. And still we do have this issue. Right. So now if we try and do the firmware update from there, drag it back in. So now it's in DFU mode and it's still not updating the firmware. In DFU mode and it's still not updating the database. Fantastic. So now what? Okay, so let's argue it's the phone. There's something wrong with the phone. Right. We'll take this phone and we'll disconnect it. We will take it out of DFU mode. We'll leave the phone to boot again. Let's plug it in to confirm that we're getting normal mode. So keep an eye here where it says no connection. Look at that. It's connected in normal mode again. Now if you click on normal mode, it's going to say phone is not in DFU mode. Well, I wonder, that's kind of the first thing that I thought, well, it's in red and says phone is not in DFU mode. Probably I should put it into DFU mode then, especially after the first thing that they show you is instructions on how to put it into DFU mode. Well, okay. So maybe it's the phone. Maybe it's the phone. So we'll put that phone one side. Then we'll take another phone, connect that one. Now the thing is here, if you disconnect it, it doesn't always show on that left side. Anyway, so now it shows disconnected. Let's connect it again. Okay, there we go. Now it says normal mode again. Okay, so now hang on. Click normal mode. And would you look at that? It still says it wants to be in DFU mode. Okay, maybe my interpretation is wrong, but something that's red and says phone not in DFU mode. Okay, so nothing else seems to be working if it's not in DFU mode. Let's try and update the firmware now. It's kind of pointless at this stage, but okay. Update firmware. Look at that. Error. Update database. Still an error. Yeah, I just don't get it. Okay. Maybe we just need to put it properly into DFU mode. Let's go stick it into DFU mode. Watch the connection there. Still says no connection. And now it says DFU model. Click on the DFU mode or DFU model, and it says phone in DFU mode. Getting phone information. And now it still shows an error. So yeah, it's now phone number 2. Okay, let's try the firmware update again. Update firmware. Yeah, I didn't expect anything else because I've seen this so many times over. But there we go again. So it's clearly not working. If I go to backup, now all of a sudden it would say the serial port is not open. Failure. Serial port is what? Abnormally closed. This still shows that it's connected. So if I connect there, the serial port is still connected. There's something seriously stuffed up with the software or with this device. Yeah, from what I've seen, this is not how it's supposed to be reacting. So I still stick to my statement. This is either a faulty device or I've been scammed. Again, nothing happens when you click on this bloody info button. Nothing happens when you go to tutorial. Nothing happens if you go onto online service. If you go onto their website and go to online service, there's nothing there. Anyway, so yeah, this whole thing is frustrating the crap out of me. And I am at the point where I would like to give up and just purchase another unit from someone else and just lodge a dispute on AliExpress for this thing. But okay, before I go that far, let's see. Let's take it out of DFU mode again. Now watch on the left, it says DFU mode, and now it says disconnected. So we wait for this thing to come back on and boot up again. There we go, connected normal mode. Okay, so now, what is it that you want me to do in normal mode? I don't understand, because the software clearly requires you to be in DFU mode. And the other name for this little box is a DFU box. Its whole purpose is to do things to the phone and read stuff from the phone in DFU mode. So I don't understand what the problem is. So yes, this is giving us this error where it says box instrument communication error, and it keeps on happening. I haven't found anywhere else on the internet with anyone else having the same problem. Yeah, so anyway, let's disconnect this phone. This is an iPhone 7. And we're going to just stick this into DFU mode. So no connection, DFU model, great. So now this is in DFU mode. Okay, now we go and read. Now with the iPhone 7 it takes a little bit longer to read, but it comes out with exactly the same amount of information at this stage. And then it gives me the same communication error. So yeah, what am I doing wrong? Maybe you guys can tell me, and maybe one of you are watching this and pulling your hair out and said, dude, this is wrong. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. Do it this way. Well, great. Chuck it in the comments and let us know what we're supposed to be doing. And then we can have a look and see it from there. Let's see if we don't throw away the camera at first. Yeah, so frustrating as hell when stuff doesn't just work when it's supposed to be working. So, yeah. So this is not working. So even if I try and do a query, the query is going to come up with some port error, and clearly the port is still open. If I click on that, it still reads the phone's information and gives me an error. So, okay, before I take it out of DFU mode, let's have a look and see. Okay, maybe with the iPhone 7, I can get it to update the firmware for the DFU box or the iRepair box. I guess not. Well, I guess if that's how it is, then that's how it is. Let's try and see if we go into normal mode with the iPhone 7, if we've now got something different that we can display. Okay, beautiful. Now that's in there. Try and connect to it from there. Update firmware. Huh, look at that. More errors, more errors. It's not working. Or at least I can't get the bloody thing to work. What am I doing wrong? At this point, I think the only thing that I've done wrong is to buy this product from this seller. Frustrated as hell, to be honest. So if you know how to fix this, please leave the comments down below. You'd be helping me and probably hundreds or thousands of other people that's trying to do the same thing, stuck on the same problem. I don't know. Maybe I should just cut my losses and buy a different one. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to cut the video short here. I just don't want this frustration anymore. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. So normal mode does bugger all. DFU mode does bugger all. Who knows? Anyway, you guys have a lovely day. Maybe someone can rescue me from this ball of frustration that I'm chewing on at the moment. Anyway.